Oh, and welcome to another episode of Diver Gold Coin Dealer. It's going to be a bit of a downbeat one today, but I feel like the successes and the failures should be spoken about equally. So here we go. Let's talk about the coins first, and then I'll talk about the private news I had that, whilst it's not a channel about my personal life, I try and keep a lot off the table for obvious reasons. This does affect the channel and it affects the coin business and it affects me, so it's prudent that I talk about it. But yeah, let's get into the coins. So I did a few deals. I've recently perked up a bit in terms of my trading because I've been buying all types of lots. I say dive a gold coin deal. I've been buying everything recently, which I've really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed sorting through things and dealing with new things. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, and this is not so cool. Like I bought some notes and I bought some currency coins, old coins, gold, silver, you name it, I've been buying it. And it's really piqued my interest because I genuinely love dealing with coins. I did a deal as well, and I put on the last video where I said, traded 9 sovereign, not my best deal. And there was issues with that deal, as I later found out. So when I struck that deal, the deal in my mind, the South African coins were 0.8. And then someone pointed out, so, oh, they're 0.5. And I went, okay, there's only 4 of them. I'll let that slide because it's not the end of the world. Maybe it was a mistake. And then I worked out that the bulk of the coins were 0.5 instead of 0.8. And I wasn't happy about it. I'm not going to rag on the trader. It could have happened for a myriad of reasons. Sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. Sometimes it's nefarious. I'm not saying it's either. I've come to the conclusion that as long as something gets put right, it's kind of no harm, no foul in that regard. But I said to him, I feel like I've been misrepresented this batch and I want a refund on the differential. And in his credit, he did refund it. So make of that what you will. It's not for me to judge other people. Maybe there was a misunderstanding, but I just said to him, there was barely anything in the deal in the first place. It's a £300 differential in the metal price alone. I would never have struck that deal. I was like, because it was a poor deal anyway. Now that's been put right. Doesn't matter. Hopefully he's done okay on the deal. If he hasn't, then he hasn't. But it's not for me to prop up other dealers. Although I do give away some really good deals. I sold a few things recently that I probably should have put more on it, but I just went, just have it. It's fine. Now, one of the reasons I've been enjoying the coin dealings, there's a lot of lots that come in where I can. It's kind of like dealing with spot price with gold, but you're dealing with other coins. You've got the base price, and as soon as you hit it, you're in pure profit. You just job lot it. And I've been kind of enjoying that because I can move. I can see coins I would necessarily see, like the UK coin sets. I wouldn't get them in. I wouldn't personally purchase them because would I want to buy one for 10, sell for 15? I think gold's a lot better proposition when buying those types of things, or silver, because you've got the liquidity with those sets. You, I don't feel you've got the liquidity. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a specialist in those areas. I guess if you're a specialist, you're going to be more liquid than a generalist like myself. But if I'm getting things in and I remove the silver and I remove the currency coins and I remove the spendable pounds and I've hit above what I paid, I could just job lot the rest of it. It's a very easy business model. It doesn't matter how much I make. I just job lot it. It's fine. And I think I wish I'd known about this sooner. I think I would have been looking at those types of lots many years ago had I known that. I didn't realise how simple it was. But saying that, back then I probably didn't have the experience and the nous to go out and go for these deals. I probably stuck with more of what I knew. Whereas now I'm really bored of what I know. In fact, I've started to forget things, which I'm not sure says more about my character and my age. Maybe my body and my mind starting to degrade a little. I don't know. But I'm starting to forget things. And when I learn something new, I'm like, oh, okay. I can't talk for the people watching this video, but do you ever have it where you relearn something? I never used to have that. It used to be like, I was like a sponge. So I'd remember everything. And now I'm like, oh, did I know that? Did I? Yeah, I forgot about that. Like, that's kind of cool. That's a bit neat. But I find it's keeping my brain a bit active, just working with stuff that I wouldn't normally deal with because it's fun for me. So I read something about the neural pathways of the brain as well. Apparently, it takes up the most energy, but the brain's quite dynamic in how it remembers things. So if you're constantly on the grind and you do the same thing, you become more forgetful. But if you train your brain and you fill it with novel experiences, you can actually increase the, I think it's like the processing power, something like the memory power, memory storage. I'm not technical as you've just worked out by my language, but that's what I read, and I thought that probably makes a lot of sense because you get to a certain age and you kind of learn everything, and then it's just dealing with things over and over and over, and that's the point I've got to in terms of the coin dealing. So it's nice to get new things in. Now let's talk about the shitty aspect of my personal life that also affects the coins. So I heard back from the university in terms of my application for cultural and social anthropology, and I was rejected on the course. And it was a bit of a bitter pill for me, to be frank with you. I spent the last few years. Actually, let's talk about the backstory. I've I've got a bit of unfinished business with that part of the world for a couple of reasons. They are personal to me. I won't elaborate much on them. And I did apply for a PhD there a couple of years back, but then I got sick. Life took me in another direction. You see, like I got a bit sick, COVID, etc. The business took off. So let's do it in chronological. So COVID happened, and then I got a bit sick. The business was starting to take off like big time. My income doubled when I got my bounce back loan, and then I got sick again, and it's been 3 or 4 years of just aiming for this. Like, what do I need to do to get back to the place where I want to be? And it's not about money, but it partially is about money. Do I want to go to that place and have to slog it out doing minimum wage jobs? I've done that before. It's not a problem for me. Sometimes you roll your sleeves up and you just do the task in front of you. I'm not a snob for work. It's not a problem. Would I take on minimum wage work again? Probably not. It's hard. It's really hard, and I wouldn't want to do it studying. But I got to the point where I said to myself, I set myself a goal. The goal was 250,000. I'm way past that. Way, way, way past that. Without divulging too much. Most of it's invested anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter, but it's still personal to me, you know. And yeah, I just thought I'll wind the business down. I'll get there and it'll be fine. I'll figure it out, you know. Like I've said it many times, I don't want to be running a business, but I still want to deal with coins. And I thought that course was the right avenue to kind of pivot. Just didn't work that way. They rejected my application. I think it was based on the degrees I studied because I'm from a business background, and I thought with the coin dealing they would accept it, and they just didn't. And that's a bit upsetting, but it's more upsetting because it's a rug pull rather than it diminishes my talents and what I want. It doesn't diminish me as a person. They just felt like the fit wasn't there for the course, and that's fair enough. You know, I'm not gonna hold a grudge against that, but it's left me in a position of, well, what do I do? Like, I'm still waiting on another application to come back. The application that didn't accept me was my favoured one. I could potentially apply for another course. I could do economics, I guess, but the whole point of kind of doing it was to pivot. It wasn't to go further into the business. I know I can run a business. I'm very good at running a business. I know I could build a multi-million-pound business. I was saying to my friend recently, if I sold my business, the valuation's over £1 million just on the metrics. So I could sell the business, still run it, and be a millionaire if I wanted to do it. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to sell parts of the business. I don't want to commit for another 3 to 5 years. And I just want to live my life. You know, and how many years can I go before my youth is gone? You know, I'm still relatively young. I'm 35. I'm the fittest I've been in years. But how much longer can I put it off and put it off and put it off? And in my mind, you get to a point where making the extra money isn't worth the years lost. I don't want to be grinding away for another year. 6 months, I'd grit my teeth and do it, but another year just seems, no. I need a new project. So what do I do? I don't know. I'm going to sit down after this video, stop recording, and I'm going to figure out a plan. 6 months. 6 months would make the world of difference. I could probably clear a couple of the loans. I'm not going to go into my finances. They're very complex, but practically when all the ducks are lined up, loans regardless, I'm retired in terms of cash flow. But 6 months would clear a couple of loans, £1,200 a month. So these are the numbers I'm dealing with. Like, they're a lot bigger than people think. And it's not a humble brag or anything like that. In all honesty, I'd much rather be in a position where I've got somewhere to go, and not thinking about earning more money. I wanted to move on with my life, and it's kind of not worked that way, or it hasn't worked that way now. Maybe that will change. Maybe I will get on another course. I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss. I feel like I'm just rambling now. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll have a think. You still got me for another 3-4 months, but it could potentially prolong how long I trade for. I could completely change tact and think, nah, let's go further into it and just become like a community project. Maybe I'll start a charity. I've got a few ideas. But accepting something that you've set your heart on for years, and you're kind of entrenched in your thinking as well, and that's difficult. It's hard to just pivot once you've committed for so long and you've thrown absolutely everything at it. Is what it is. So again,